I want to simplify this. So I want to factor top and bottom, and then cancel. Now the top can't factor, but I'm going to do something. I'm actually going to, for the top, I'm actually going to pull out a -1. You'll see why, but when I pull out a -1, that leaves me with -4, because the -1 times -4 is +4. When I pull out a -1 of this, I get positive x. You'll see why in a second why I'm doing that. But for now, let's just do that. If I want to factor the bottom, ooh, this is a harder problem. You have to go 2 times a -4. So you have this little x thingy. 2 times a -4 looks like -8, and -7 on the bottom. What does that give us? I think that's -8 and 1. So that's x minus 8, x plus 1. But to finish that, remember this 2, we multiply the 2 in to get the -8, because we multiply front and back. You have to divide both sides by 2. So to come over here, divide both of these by 2. So once I do that, this one becomes x minus 4. And this one can't reduce, so this is going to jump up front. So it's going to be 2x plus 1. Now, my next question. Why did I pull out this -1 up top? What are these the same? Isn't x plus -4 x minus 4? These are actually the same. These can actually cancel. Bam! If I were not to pull out the -1, you wouldn't be able to cancel it. But since I pull out the -1, this right here is the same as x minus 4. -4 plus x is x minus 4. Those cancel, leaving me a -1 on top and a 2x plus 1 on bottom. There's my simplified form. Okay. Number 5. Let's look for GCFs. That's the first thing we look for. Is there a greatest common factor? Yeah, what I see here, I see a 2 could be pulled out, leaving me 25 minus x squared. And on the bottom, I see a 6x that can pull out. Out of both of these, I have a 6x. That leaves me 6x times what gives me 6x squared? That looks like x. 6x times what gives me 30x? That looks like 5. All right. This is a difference of squares. I can factor that. It's a difference of squares. I know we're kind of getting used to them still. But that's 5 squared. That's x squared. And so when you have 5 squared minus x squared, what you do is you have 1 plus and 1 minus. And then the 6x, x plus 5 on the bottom. So this factors as a difference of squares, and there's your pieces. What you see next is this will cancel with this because 5 plus x is the same as x plus 5. You can write that as x plus 5 if you want. Anyways, those cancel. And what else? Oh, doesn't the 2 and the 6 cancel, leaving you 3 and 1? So I'm left with a 1 and a 5 minus x on top. And on bottom, I'm left with a 3x. That looks like your answer. Now, that is your answer. Some people would do this. They'd pull a -1 out of the top and make that an x minus 5. Again, some people would do that. They'll pull a -1 out of the top and make it this answer. And sometimes they'll even bring the negative down to the bottom. But this works, but sometimes they'll do this. You just got to be careful for multiple choice test questions. Last one. If I want to simplify this, I got to factor top and bottom. So I got to factor this top. I'm going to pull out a GCF of let's look like 4x. When I pull 4x out, 4x times what gives you 4x squared? Looks like 4x. So, and then 4x times what gives you 8xy? That looks like 2y. That's a positive. For the bottom, is there a GCF? Yeah. I could pull a 2 out, leaving me x squared plus, pull a 2, that'd be 3 xy, and when you pull a 2 out of this, it leaves you 2 y squared. Alright, this can still factor. 2y squared and 3y. This is on top, this is on bottom. Let's see. Two numbers that multiply to get this and add to get this. I think it's 2y and y. This times this gives you that. This times this, yeah. You could put a 1 if you want. So I'm going to rewrite this bottom here as 2y, sorry, as x plus 2y and x minus y. That is this, and leave the 2. Rewrite the whole thing. So this is now the bottom. Okay, our next statement or question is, what cancels? Well, this 2 and this leaves you this. That 4 over 2. 4 cancels with the 2, leaving you 1 on bottom, 2 there. And this x plus 2y cancels with this x plus 2y. That leaves us on top with a 2 and an x. That leaves us 2x. And on bottom we have a 1 and an x minus y. There's my answer. Now it gets kind of messy, but again, we pull the GCF out of the top, and on the bottom we pull the 2 out, which kind of got lost right there. And once we pull the 2 out, I went over here and factored what's inside. Give me this blue. And then I started canceling top and bottom. And that ends up being the answer, simplified.